And now to our Retaking America segment. Tonight, we're going to examine Virginia's 7th congressional district, which includes most of the suburbs north of Richmond. Since 2018, Democrat Abigail Spanberger has represented the district, winning in large part due to her claims that she was a moderate. Well, she joined the Blue Dog Caucus and even said when she was elected that she would not vote for Pelosi as Speaker of the House. Well, since then, she's voted with Pelosi 92% of the time. And according to the website 538, she's voted in line with Biden's positions 100% of the time. So what does that mean? That means she's been a rubber stamp for all these things that have led to inflation, like the stimulus back in 2021 and open borders. Here now is Yesli Vega, a law enforcement officer, military wife, and a mom who is looking to unseat Spanberger. Yesli, your parents came here from El Salvador. Your brother was almost killed by an MS-13 member. How has that experience influenced you in your decision to get in this crazy world of politics?
Well, Laura, my brother was gunned down and nearly killed, as you stated, by MS-13 gang members. So for me, the crisis at the border is personal. We have no idea who is coming through the southern border. And look, I grew up in a time where I saw older men trying to recruit children of elementary schools into the gang. And so when I talk about the crisis at the border, when I talk about the crime in our communities, I come from a personal standpoint.
When we think about the changing demographics of America, the Latino population is growing, it's vibrant, there's small business owners, law enforcement like you. How is this possibly a sea change for the Republican Party and the Latino vote nationwide?
Look, we saw it last November. I served as a chairwoman for the Latinos for Youngkin, where we successfully brought out 54% of the Hispanic vote, which was historic for any Republican in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so I'm really excited about that momentum. When you look at the slate of candidates vying for this nomination, I'm the only one that can improve upon those numbers. So I'm excited. We've been working hard. We've been laying the groundwork, and we're going to see success, not just this coming Tuesday, June 21st, but also in the fall.
One thing that when you think about a law enforcement background like you have, and to see what's been done to the most beautiful cities in the United States. I mean, incredible places where crime is rampant and the random attacks on individuals, just innocent people walking down the street. Have you ever seen anything like this? And how did that whole summer of love and the treatment of law enforcement after that lead us up to this moment?
You know, I got into law enforcement in 2011 as the result of my brother's attack, and I saw firsthand the role that law enforcement play in our communities, specifically during this traumatic event in my family's life. But I can tell you that I've never seen anything like it. We went from being greeted at your local 7-Eleven while getting coffee in the morning to being demonized, cursed at. I mean, you name it, we've seen it all. And, you know, we see now, based on the polling, that the Democrats are trying to backpedal their position on defunding the police and attacking the police because the polling shows that the American people overwhelmingly reject the idea of getting rid of the police altogether.
Now, Abigail Spanberger has talked about the idea and the issue of gun control. Here she is.
Limiting large capacity magazines, raising the age at which one can get an assault style weapon if we are not taking the full step of putting a full production stoppage in place, and utilizing federal legislation to encourage the adoption of ERPOs nationwide. These are steps we could take that would save lives.
You listen to her carefully. She wants a gun ban. I mean, clearly that's where her mind is, and she kind of talked around it a little bit. Is that going to solve the problems that we have in our society?
It absolutely isn't, and it just further shows how disconnected she is from the people of the 7th District.
Oh, my God, the whole Commonwealth of Virginia, someone who's had the great privilege of being with a lot of great gun owners and shooters and people who know what they're doing with firearms. Yesli, we're going to be watching June 21st very carefully. There's 6 people in the primary. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Thanks so much for joining. I hope everyone gets out and votes. Summertime.